have been using Facebook ads to attract new visitors to church for the last 7 years. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is breaking down 5 tips that you can use in order to create effective Facebook ads that are going to attract new visitors. So let's dive into 5 tips for Facebook ads that grow your church coming up. All right, so I started running Facebook ads for my church in 2014, and literally the very first time we did it, advertising for a back-to-school backpacks giveaway, we were blown away by the results, right? So we had spent about $150 over 3 days just running Facebook ads to parents who had kids between the ages of 4 and 12 and lived within driving distance of our church, because we had about 500 backpacks full of school supplies that we wanted to give away to families in need, right? Had no idea what I was doing, but I kind of put together the ad, and I was blown away. When I showed up on Sunday morning, we had a line that was wrapped around the entire gym 3 hours before the event started. So I literally was just like, what the heck is going on? My pastor walked into the gym. We had free Chick-fil-A that was supposed to last all day long. It was gone in 10 minutes, right? We had people everywhere. We had lines. I mean, it was crazy. And he walks in and just said, dude, Abbo, what did you do? I think we tapped into something. So I've literally been using Facebook ads ever since then. We've done a lot of things right. We've done a lot of things wrong. And so what I want to do is just kind of walk you through the 5 elements of an effective Facebook ad that you can use for your church in order to attract new visitors. So let's dive in. Now, I ended up teaching these 5 principles to a friend of mine, and then he posted this on social media, and he said, very first Sunday, 3 plan your visits and 21 guests, right? So this works, and it works at churches all over, of all sizes, of all denominations. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. These 5 tips are universal. Now, make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because I'm going to be sharing with you a secret ingredient that, while it's not one of the 5, if you learn how to use it correctly, it's like pouring gasoline on the bonfire. So let's dive in. All right, number 1 is the creative, right? So the first part of any ad that someone is going to see as they're scrolling through the newsfeed is going to be your creative. So that's either going to be a picture or a video. Now, I recommend not using a graphic. A lot of churches make this mistake a lot of times because you say, oh, we put together this really cool graphic for our Sunday service or for our new sermon series or for an event. Graphics look like promotional material, and so people just keep scrolling. What you want to do is you want to create some type of creative that looks like everything else that's on the platform, right? So if you're running a Facebook ad on Facebook and or Instagram, it's a great idea to just have a photo with no text on it, right? Because think about it, your friends, when they go out there and they're on like a date night with their wife or they're posting about their kids, they're not photoshopping that and adding like, text and subtext and everything like that, right? Then you know it's photoshopped, you know it's produced. They're just snapping pictures in the backyard, they're shooting selfie videos. You want to do the exact same thing. So if it's a picture and you're inviting people out to church, you want to show a picture of smiling, happy people, right? One of the best ways to do it is if you're doing a church invite, is just having a picture of you as the pastor and your spouse, right? I don't know why, but for whatever reason, if you are a male pastor and you have your spouse with you, it's always going to convert better. Right? I think it kind of lowers the barrier of entry for women because, they look at it and they just see like a guy, they don't know who you are. But if there's a woman in the picture with you, it's like, oh, okay, well, there's at least one woman in the world who likes this dude, right? And kind of approves of him. So I think it just lowers the barrier of entry, kind of lowers anxiety for a lot of women, and it's just going to convert a lot better. So you can use a picture of you and your spouse, or you can create a video. Now, if you go the video route, I highly, highly recommend doing a walking selfie video. Right? So you don't want this video to look produced. I don't care if you're a mega church or if you're a professional videographer and you say, hey, Abbo, everything I do is with excellence. We do everything on a red camera and we're going to make sure that this looks absolutely professional. You're going to make sure that it absolutely bombs. I'm telling you, it's going to end up looking produced. It's going to look like a commercial and people are going to keep scrolling. I've had churches fight me on this for years, and then every single time they switch over and take me up on just creating a walking selfie video, it outperforms the professional video 5 times to 1, sometimes 10 times to 1. It makes that much of a difference. You want this just to be a walking selfie video. It could be you and your spouse walking down Main Street, walking outside in front of your church, right? But it's just going to create a really engaging video as you invite people to church. And when you're walking, people are looking to see what's behind you and where you're at. If they recognize the part of town that you're in, do they recognize the church building behind you, right? So you can create a really, really creative, fun, engaging video just by doing a walking selfie video with your spouse. All right, number 2 is the headline. Now, when someone is scrolling through their newsfeed, the first thing they're gonna see is your creative, right? They're gonna see that picture, they're gonna see a video, that's gonna stop the scroll. Naturally, the next place they're going to look is the headline. Then, if they like your headline, then they're actually gonna go up and read your ad. And I found that if you use 1 or 2 emojis at the beginning of the headline, again, for whatever reason, it makes it a lot more engaging and it makes it just seem a lot more relatable and friendly, right? So you can choose an emoji to put at the beginning, and then you want to have some type of a headline that's going to pique the viewer's interest. So for example, if you were creating a Facebook ad that was just to garner prayer requests, you might say, "Hey Tulsa, how can I pray for you this week?" Right? And that might be, you could have like some little praying hand emojis, and that would be your headline. Or maybe you're inviting people out to a men's event, right? So I did a men's event here a little while back at my church. It was called the Navy SEAL men's event, right? And just the name of that is cool enough that it's going to attract a lot of men and they're going to want to know a little bit more. So what we did for the headline on that one is all we did is we just had a little fire emoji, and then the headline simply said Tulsa Navy SEAL men's event. That way everyone knows that it's in Tulsa, so everyone within driving distance knows that it's local. And Navy SEAL men's event sounds cool enough that they're at least going to go read the ad copy to find out more about the event, right? So that's all your headline is supposed to do. You just want to pique their interest enough that they go read the rest of your ad. All right, so before I get to my last 3 points, man, would you subscribe to this channel? Man, we're putting out brand new content, brand new videos every single day, 5 days a week. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell notification. That way you get notified every single time we drop a new video. All right, number 3 is your ad copy. So we've got great looking creative that's gonna stop the scroll. We've got a headline that's gonna pique their interest. Now they're gonna scroll up and they're gonna actually read your ad copy. So the ad copy, it's really important to deliver all of the information that they need and no more. Right? Albert Einstein is famous for saying, make it simple and no simpler. And that's exactly what we want to do in our ad copy. We want to give them all the details that they're going to need and no more, right? We don't want to just ramble on, but it is okay to have longer ad copy if we're delivering relevant information. Relevant information would be stuff like the details of the date and time, exactly what they can expect, right? Either at the Sunday service or at your event, or if they show up for the new sermon series, right? You want to make sure to give all those details, but again, focus on benefits are about them, features are about you. So you don't want to just talk about the church and how long you've been there or what the Sunday morning set list is going to be or about all your amazing small groups, right? Talk about the benefits to them. So let them know, hey, you're going to hear from a Navy SEAL who was on SEAL Team 3 for over 20 years, and he's going to take everything that he learned in those 20 years about life and about being a man of God, and he's going to share that with you this Friday night. Right? That sounds pretty cool. And now we're actually talking about why they would want to show up, right? You know that, hey, the benefit to me if I show up is that a Navy SEAL who served as a SEAL for 20 years is going to talk to me and kind of share everything that he learned over 20 years about being a man of God, and he's going to share that with me Friday night. I know exactly what to expect, right? That's some great ad copy. So a couple of tips on your ad copy. Make sure to use emojis. You don't want to overdo it with this, but again, emojis just help it to feel like laid back copy, and that's what we want. We want to write this ad copy like we would talk. You don't want this to sound like your 12th grade English paper, right? If this is something your English teacher would approve of, you probably did it wrong. You want this to sound laid back. You want it to sound more like a coffee shop invite, right? Just kind of hitting the highlights. If you were to meet somebody in line at a coffee shop and you were inviting them out to the event, what are some of the things that you would say to them in order to invite them out, right? That's a great way to kind of go about this and figure out what should go into your ad copy. It should sound like one friend texting another friend. You don't need to use LOL or these different spelling errors, but use emojis, right? And write the way you would talk. So lastly, in your ad copy, you want to make sure to end that copy with a call to action, right? So that might be, man, click on the link below and plan your visit on the next page. It might be, hey, click on the link below and get all of the details on the next page. It might be, hey, click on the learn more button and buy a ticket now. It might be, hey, click on the sign up button and sign up for plan your visit right now, right? Whatever it is, you want to have a specific call to action, which is just simply the next step. You want to tell them what their next step is. If you've piqued their interest about your new sermon series or church this Sunday or your event, right? You want to tell them what their next step is, right? So just be very clear and put that at the end of your ad copy. All right, number 4 is your destination. Now, in the church world, 99% of the time, this is either going to be a landing page or Facebook Messenger. And I'm a big fan of both of these. I've been using both of these at my church and at churches all over the U.S. For a really long time. The cool thing about a landing page is you can actually go onto your church website and you can set up either a plan your visit page or an event landing page, right? Something with a specific call to action. I like plan your visit now. It's my favorite call to action. I use that 999 times out of 1,000, right? But you can have a specific call to action and you can just share with them the information they need to know about showing up to church, showing up to the sermon series, or showing up to the event. Or you can run them into Facebook Messenger and you can use a chatbot to actually have a one-on-one personal ministry conversation with them. That way, if they need prayer, you can send them an audio prayer through Facebook Messenger, right? But you're able to have this kind of one-on-one ministry conversation that you can't have on a landing page or in another context, right? Social media was meant to be social, and I'm a huge fan of Facebook Messenger because I've seen churches all over the country use this over and over and over again to add new visitors to their church every single Sunday. All right, and finally, number 5 is the targeting, right? So once you've got an ad, it's all set up, you've got your creative locked in, you've got a great headline, all of your ad copy, you figured out your destination, either your landing page or into Facebook Messenger. Now what you want to do is you want to set up the targeting. And this is the number one mistake that I see churches make on Facebook ads all the time, and it's easy to do, right? What happens is usually they just over-target. There's so many fun ways to target on Facebook, and it's easy to kind of get carried away and just say, okay, we're going to target everyone between the ages of 27 and 29 who have 2 kids, who live within 2 miles of the church, and they love Cherry Coke, the Washington football team, and they hate the Dallas Cowboys. But then what happens is you're actually shrinking your audience size down to a very, very specific segment, right? And so at that point, there only might be a couple hundred or even a couple thousand people who fit that. So your cost per click is going to go up, your cost per result is going to go up, and you're probably not going to have a really good outcome. So what I recommend is actually keeping your targeting wide open, right? Just type in the address of your church and Facebook will drop a pin on it and then pull out that radius to whatever driving distance is for your church. So if you live in a small to medium-sized city, that's probably 10 to 15 miles. Or if you live in a suburb of a major city, again, probably 10 to 15 miles. If you live in a rural area, that might be 20, 30, or even 45 miles. Or if you live in a huge city like Manhattan, that might only be 1 or 2 miles, right? So whatever it is, determine what driving distance is for your church, drop a pin on your church, and then draw out a radius that is driving distance of your church and leave the targeting wide open, targeting everyone between the ages of 18 and 65 plus. All right, and finally, I promise that if you stuck around to the end of this video, I would share with you the secret ingredient that if you use it correctly is like pouring gasoline on the bonfire. And that is your budget. Now, here's what's interesting. It's not actually one of the 5 elements, but this is something that if you use it correctly can be a complete game changer. So, for example, I started running Facebook ads here a couple of years ago, and I was a little bit unhappy with the results. It was working. We were getting in front of people. We were having plan your visits. People were showing up on Sunday, but I just wanted it to go faster, right? I just wanted to reach more people. So it wasn't that it wasn't effective. We just weren't spending that much money on Facebook ads. So I literally went to my pastor and I convinced him to give me more money. Now, I actually laid my job on the line, if you can believe that. I literally just said, hey, man, give me this amount of money for the next 90 days. I think I can grow our church over the summer. If I'm wrong and if I don't do that, you can fire me and I'll never ask you for another penny. Pretty extreme, but I literally had that conversation because I was that confident in our ads. I knew we had ads that were working. We just weren't showing them to enough people, right? And it worked. We ended up 10xing the budget, which is a pretty big deal. But all of a sudden, we started smashing our summer attendance records. We started going through, and in the first month, we increased our first-time visitors by 42%. In the second month, by 60%. In the third month, by 87%. And in the fourth month, by 113%. So all we did was take the ads that were already working. We poured more budget into the funnel, and it was like pouring gasoline on the bonfire. Things absolutely exploded. Now, I know that not every single one of you has a bunch of extra money just laying around that you can use that for, but could you get creative, right? Craig Rochelle says that limited resources are a breeding ground for innovation, right? So if you have limited resources, man, could you work out a deal with another church that maybe like you'll agree to run their Facebook ads for them in exchange for a certain amount per month, right? Maybe it's $300 a month, maybe it's $500 a month, right? And then you take that and then tell them this up front, say, hey, I'm going to take that money that you're paying me, I'm going to put them into my Facebook ads, and that's going to be my Facebook ads budget every single month, right? That's an innovative way to do it. Maybe there's someone in your church that if you kind of cast the vision for this, right, and showed them this video or kind of laid out for them what your vision is, maybe they'd be willing to sponsor the ads for a couple of months. Or maybe you could present this to the congregation on a Sunday morning and just challenge the people in your congregation to give an extra $10 or $20 per month for the next 90 days in order to try out this new outreach vehicle. Okay, so if you like like this video and you want to learn a little bit more about how you can use Facebook ads and social media in order to grow your church, I've got a free gift for you. Head on over to churchgrowthagency.com or click on the link in the description below. We've got a free video walking you through a 4-part blueprint for how you can use Facebook ads to grow your church.